Okay, so I think we'll start the introductions there then. So I'll keep admitting people as they drop in. I'm sure a few more will join us as we go through the first section here. But yeah, welcome and thank you very much for joining us for the first Cantarus hosted webinar. Today, the focus of the presentation and discussion is making membership essential in a difficult economy, and we're going to be looking at a case study with one of our clients in today's session, which is CIOB. So as we go through the session, please feel free to list any questions you may have. You can drop those in the chat, but there's also a dedicated Q&A tab that you'll notice at the top. So if you have any questions throughout, please drop those in there and I'll keep an eye on them throughout. And I'll be back towards the kind of last 10 minutes or so to facilitate that Q&A. But for now, I'll hand over to the presenters for introductions and then we'll begin the session. So Lee, do you want to introduce yourself first and then hand around from there?
Thanks, I'm delighted to have everybody here. So my name is Lee Adams. I'm the Chief Executive Officer at Cantarus. My primary role is strategic, but I work very closely with the products team here and with our key accounts to ensure their success.
Hey, thanks, Lee. I'm Mark Eichler, Principal Consultant with Cantarus. I lead on product management and help clients consider our engagement solutions, especially app, online community, and website.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name's Tim Cawood. I'm the head of digital at CIOB. So I'm responsible for really the customer-facing side of our membership engagement on digital platforms, so websites, mobile app, and outward engagement channels.
Hi, everyone. I'm Grace, and I am the online community executive at CIOB, and I look after the community and the app.
Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. So I'll just go through the agenda quickly. So we're going to give you a brief introduction to Cantarus for those who don't know who we are. Tim will then give us a brief introduction to CIOB and then talk about the business case for the app and community. I'll then walk everybody through the engagement ecosystem, what that actually is. App and community are part of that. And Mark and I will demonstrate some aspects of the engagement ecosystem, so showing you the CIOB app and community. Tim's then going to talk about the results that CIOB have seen to date and the future, and then we'll hand over to that panel Q&A that Sam mentioned earlier, so that any questions that you posted in the chat or the Q&A section, we will pick up there. So look forward to answering those. So moving on to the first agenda item. So who are Cantarus? Who are we? So our new brand launched yesterday, so all this is very new to me as well, but the timing is great. So our summary really is that we help ambitious clients get more from digital. So what does that mean in practice? Well, essentially, we organise our products and services into 6 core competencies: web and app engineering, so that's websites, mobile apps, sort of bread and butter of a digital agency. Experience design and branding, so making great user experiences, ensuring our designs are accessible, beautiful, simple, effective. Data and insight, so helping organizations extract the value from their data and gain actionable insights from that. Online community, so really enabling audiences with a shared interest or characteristic to engage with each other online. And we'll be talking a lot with CIOB about what we've done there for them. Support and hosting, and also consultancy. So we are fortunate to have a number of senior membership execs who've joined the organisation, and we provide consultancy there at a more strategic level for membership organisations. So selection of our clients. So we like to say that although membership is by far our biggest sector, we do think it's a strength that we work across all sections of the economy. So we work with local government, we work with central government, we work with charities, commercial organisations, etc. And that we believe really helps us to avoid the echo chamber effect of only working in membership and kind of doing the same thing again and again. So we try and cross-pollinate best practice and new ideas from other sectors into membership, and of course vice versa as well. And we picked out some of the prestigious organisations we work with in the sector, including the Royal College of Physicians, the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales. We work with the Law Society, the British Computer Society, etc., and of course the Chartered Institute of Building. Some key metrics in terms of how our clients perceive us and what we do. So very proud of our Net Promoter Score. Hopefully most of you are familiar with that. We started out with +46, and over 4 to 5 years we've driven it up to a score of +82, which we believe is the best in the industry. And that really leads on to a very high client retention rate on an annual basis of 95%. And we have an excellent service desk client satisfaction rating. So we process about 1,600 support tickets per year, and we get about 2 to 3 downvotes per year on the outcome of those tickets. So that gives you an idea of the sort of service levels we deliver there. And in terms of our team, we have 60+ people in the organisation, split between mainly Manchester, but also London as well, and a mix of thinkers, creatives and builders. And we're very proud of our Glassdoor rating. Would encourage you to have a look at that. We do believe that happy team members make for happy clients, and that's very much a virtuous circle. So we invest a lot of time in looking after our team so that they look after our clients. So moving to membership specifically, we absolutely love membership. As I say, we employ a number of former senior membership executives. I work in membership every day with nearly 60 different organisations. And that's really reflected in some of the things that we do in the space. So we've been a MemberWise partner for 6 years now. We've delivered over 110 projects in the membership space. We have authored a number of best practice guides. So some examples there, the Ultimate Guide to Member Apps and the Ultimate Guide to Online Member Communities that we delivered with MemberWise. Really proud to work with them and to continue our partnership into 2023. And as a result of the sort of investment we've made and our focus on client satisfaction, we've maintained an average annual growth rate of +25% since 2008, so a consistent track record of growth there. And it does leave us as the UK-based market leader for membership in all of web, app and online communities. So really proud of that position. And with that, I shall hand over to Tim to talk about CIOB. I think you're on mute there, Tim. I don't know if you're struggling to turn that off.
There we go. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Lovely. Okay, sorry about that. Struggling with Teams there. So I'm just going to give a quick overview of the CIOB, and then we'll go into some of the business case and how we approached engaging with Cantarus and how that led to the app in general. So who are we? The Chartered Institute of Building. We were established in 1834. We're quite an old organisation, obviously, nearly coming up to. So what we're pushing on for 200 years. We are made up of professionals who are engaging in construction management. We're a voluntary organisation. People aren't obligated to be members of the Chartered Institute of Building. So for us, it's really important that we deliver value back to members. It's important that they see the value and the return of their membership. So in 1980, we were granted a public charter, a royal charter, and that's really there to promote for the public benefit the science and practice of building and construction. We're primarily UK focused, but growing internationally all the time. And that's really kind of where some of our digital offering is starting to offer us greater opportunities. So what we do, we are a professional body, so we're really there to promote professional standards across the construction industry. We're there to influence policymakers and make sure that the construction industry has a clear voice and to act as the moral compass to the construction industry. And we deliver a host of services to our members, those including things like mentoring, course delivery, CPD, apprenticeships, and then more recently, the community engagement through the mobile app. So we are in the process of launching a 5-year corporate plan, and I think this is kind of a really powerful place to be in right now. We're looking at modern professionalism across the construction industry, and for us, technology is playing a central role in us achieving that and making sure that we can continue to engage with all of our members and get across all of these kind of key areas, which I think are becoming common themes across construction. So that really leads us kind of quite nicely into the business case for the mobile app. So we undertook the kind of the pathway towards building a mobile app just over 2 years ago now, was when we first started exploring whether or not we would have a mobile app. So like many organizations, I think we were often asked the question, should we have a mobile app or should we be looking at a responsive website? And for many years, we'd had the conversation bouncing around, and we'd often been pushing back on the idea of a mobile app. Basically, we needed to make sure that it was something that was delivering a unique value, a unique position to our members. We wanted to make sure that it was based in that, really responding to a user need. So when we actually began undertaking this, it was really from the drive from members saying, actually, we'd like to have a mobile app, but we weren't too sure really what that would be. So we set about understanding what the market looked like. We generally found there was quite a divide in the market. We found there was really kind of two positions that we would often see, one being the off-the-shelf product that we could put our logo on, and the other being a complete bespoke build. So it kind of presented two really polar positions for us, which was either something very restrictive or something that was so custom that it might become incredibly expensive or difficult to maintain. When we engaged initially with Cantarus, and we'd already been working with them for some time, they were keen to show us the MemConnect platform. And what we kind of quickly found was that it offered us a nice balance between the two. We could have something that was very bespoke to our needs, so could present some clear branding. We could put our name on it, but there was additionally a pre-built set of features which we could then talk to our stakeholders about. And that really led to our initial business case. So once we'd explored the market, we consolidated that position and put forward the 3 potential approaches, the middle layer being effectively this kind of platform solution as a mobile app. That received sponsorship from our trustees in November 2020, and then we spent the next 3 months working with Cantarus directly and a group of our members, really to understand exactly what we could go about delivering and making sure that there was a unique offering. One of the things that really became a central offering to that, one of our key USPs, has been the community aspect of the mobile app, making sure that we were introducing this as a completely new product, and we really wanted to see the community as that USP, as something that would really deliver something new and fresh to members, and that's really what it has achieved for us. Just kind of talking a little bit more about some of the timeline to that. So as I mentioned, in September 2020, we were really undertaking that kind of first step of engagement. Then throughout January and really up until kind of June, we were engaged in design engagement with all of those key stakeholders, and we worked with Cantarus to put together a set of key designs that we were able to play back to all of our stakeholders and get their feedback on, and that resulted in us having something to launch at our AGM in July 2021. Since then, we've really kind of gone from strength to strength with the app. We've had a kind of a very gradual process. It's been a long haul really to get to where we are now, of engaging with members and really trying to build up the traction around the platform. And as you'll see in some of the later slides, we've now really started to kind of feel like we're gaining that momentum, and we've really been able to launch some really key features in there. I mean, one to particularly call out will be things like the mobile app events that we launched just at the end of the year, which I think has been something that added a real depth to the app and has helped it really develop. Okay, I think I'm handing back to you, Lee, for a minute.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate that. I think Teams unfortunately starts me at the beginning of the presentation each time. So I will just quickly skip through back to where we need to be. So yeah, we really wanted to talk about the engagement ecosystem, just to give some context to what you're going to see in the demo and what Tim and Grace are talking about in terms of their solution. So this is really our USP in the membership space. So we have this engagement ecosystem, which is made up of 3 pillars: the mobile app, the MemConnect platform that we use for that, and I'll talk a bit more about what that is. Online community. We've given you a view there in the web browser, and I'll talk a little bit about what our online community offering is as well. And then also the websites, of course. So the websites are very much the bread and butter. And thank you, John. Nice to see BCS there. He's mentioned in the chat. And so the websites are very much our bread and butter, and what everybody will typically expect to see: high quality membership websites with join journeys, renew journeys, member portals, all of those sorts of things. And they tend to be more sort of bespoke projects, albeit with kind of accelerators of existing functionality that we've built before. What's really unique is the fact that we have a combination of these 3 pillars, and you can select 1, 2, or 3 of those from us. So in CIOB's case, they have app and community from us. We do also support their member portal, but they have a long-standing relationship with another agency who looks after their public website. So it shows that that can mix and match and work with your pre-existing ecosystem. So I wanted just to give a little bit more context about what the MemConnect mobile app platform really is. And perhaps the best analogy is to think of it as a set of Lego blocks. So Tim mentioned earlier that they looked at bespoke and product. And we sit somewhere in between that. So it's a very modular platform where you can choose from a pre-existing catalogue of existing membership specific functionality, and we've given some examples of that on the right hand side there in white. But you may also have, and most organizations do, some bespoke requirements that differ from the out-of-the-box functionality. And what the platform allows us to do is build some unique Lego bricks for you and plug those into the overall app experience. So you might get 80% of your functionality out of the box, but that 20% of bespoke functionality that you really care about and that is unique to you can also be delivered. And that's really what makes the difference versus bespoke and product-based solutions. We also have a comprehensive design system underpinning our mobile apps to make sure that accessibility is baked in, and sort of well-proven design patterns are used throughout the app as well. And of course, with it being a platform, we're continuously developing that. So we have a team working on that every day, enhancing existing features and releasing new features to clients on an ongoing basis. And that's all sort of wrapped in a predictable lifetime pricing model. So clients are able to understand the total cost of their app project over a 3 to 5 year period as they prefer to commit to. So there are no hidden costs in the model, and that's a very deliberate decision. You can choose, of course, to do new things over that time period, but you know exactly what your committed spend is, unlike with bespoke projects, which can be very difficult to predict. So we provided here a spider diagram with 8 dimensions where we really compare bespoke versus platform versus product. And we compare that on things like how expensive is it? And what's the feature depth like? So is the feature just ticking a box, or is it actually richly implemented? What's the functional flexibility? So does it do just what it does and that's it? Or can you make it do pretty much anything that a mobile app can be made to do? We look at design freedom. So do you get the design that you're given, or do you have some flexibility in how that looks and fitting that around your brand? What's the time to market like? So from sort of pressing the trigger on a project to actually getting an app out to your members, how long does that typically take? Looking at project complexity. So what's the commitment from both organizations? Obviously, that has a big impact on cost and time to market. Looking at roadmap influence. So for example, with a bespoke project, the roadmap is whatever you decide it to be. With a product, you've probably got limited influence over that. We look at IP ownership, which is another element as well. With a bespoke project, you can potentially have 100% IP ownership, but with products and platforms, you won't typically get full IP ownership. And then to make that a little bit easier to compare, I've broken that out into 3 filled spider diagrams so that you can see platform in blue there versus bespoke at the bottom left and product at the bottom right. And the key thing is the area that's filled by the platform spidergram is much greater than the areas of bespoke and product. And hopefully you can see from the rough shape of that, that actually a platform approach, that Lego brick model that we talked about, delivers most of the benefits of product combined with most of the benefits of bespoke. So very much a best of both worlds proposition. So that's a really important element that attracted CIOB, as Tim talked about earlier. Moving on to our online community offering. So this is based on a system called Discourse, which some of you may be familiar with. But let me start by defining what an online community is. And this is a definition provided by Discourse. It's a group of people coming together for a common purpose, interest, or vision via the internet. And I think it's actually a really good definition. Communities cover all different types of gatherings. In terms of Discourse, the platform, that's been going for just about 10 years now. It's a 100% open source framework, which makes it, of course, zero cost there's no licensing fee associated with it. There are over 30,000 Discourse communities active worldwide, and more than 50 new Discourse communities are created every single day. They have over 3,000 commercial customers, and what I mean by commercial customers is on their hosting operation. They don't sell licenses, as I mentioned, and there are 67 official plugins that extend the functionality of Discourse, and that's all backed by a really vibrant product support community, which allows our clients to not just rely on us for best practice and advice and so forth for how to use Discourse, but to actually go into the Discourse community itself and ask other users like them facing similar challenges. So they kind of get the best of both worlds there. So this is a little bit of a diagram. Hopefully that's big enough for everybody to see there, that shows what we've done with Discourse. So we talk about a Discourse core as being the sort of the centerpiece, the heart of our offering. And then we've wrapped that in a variety of extensions and services to deliver something completely unique to the membership sector. So elements of that include UK-based hosting and UK-based support, coupled with upgrade management. So each month we upgrade all of our clients to the latest release of Discourse and ensure that nothing is broken, testing that and retrospectively fixing anything that we find. Then we've extended it with our own IP, so things like a membership and user license agreement feature, an integration with our MemConnect mobile app platform, which you'll see in a moment. We've also used some of those 67 community extensions that we wrap in our hosting offering, and then a whole range of other bits of IP that we've added on top of that to integrate with common association management systems or CRM systems like IMIS, like Silverbear, Dynamics, Salesforce, etc., and also to integrate with common content management system or digital experience platforms like Kentico and Umbraco, both of which are very popular in the membership sector. And then on top of that, we offer also our consultancy management services, our community management services. So really helping our clients run their communities where they don't have a Grace on the team to be doing that for them, or they have a part-time Grace and we're able to fill in those gaps and support their community manager. And also our consultancy services, so people like Mark and Helen and some of our other community managers who can provide just ongoing advice and strategic support to clients. So with that, we are hopefully seamlessly going to transition to a demo, which I have tested multiple times, so will absolutely certainly work without any doubt. So one moment and I shall swap over to that. Okay, can everybody see my my device there?
Yes.
And if anybody's saying yes, wonderful, thank you. Okay, so let's dive into the CIOB app. So to give some context, this app is available in the Google and Apple app stores completely under CIOB's brand, not the Cantarus brand. And that's really important because this is all about CIOB. It's not about us. So having you download the Cantarus app and then point it at CIOB or something of that ilk, it's just not acceptable. So that's one of the key differentiators that a platform gives us, is that we can build completely unique apps that can sit uniquely under our clients' App Store accounts. I'm logged in here as a test user, but the key thing is that this has single sign-on against CIOB's Dynamics-based CRM system. So I use the same credentials to log into the app as I do to the website, the member portal, etc. And crucially, and this is a key differentiator with apps, once you're logged in, you're basically logged in forever. So any analytics that we collect can be very confidently assigned to A, this is definitely a member that we're speaking to, and also B, this is specifically this member or this type of member. And that's really useful to get those data and insight pieces out that I talked about earlier. So you'll see here we've got a news feed. So the idea here is this is some engaging content that's immediately available on opening the app. And actually CIOB have used the flexibility of our platform to see if I can to allow different news feeds into their mobile app. So the CIOB news is pulled from their website by an integration with that website that's managed by another agency, as I mentioned. And then they also have agreements with 3 industry magazines, so they can easily switch to a different news feed and show that news from a different source, which is a really nice capability and allows them to bring all of those different news sources into one place in one seamless experience, which is a theme that we'll continue with throughout the app. There are lots of back office systems at play here, but you wouldn't know it as the user of the app, and that is crucial. It just becomes my access to the CIOB membership value proposition without seams, without jarring experience of jumping from system to system. We can obviously go in and read a particular news article as well. I mentioned the integration with online community, and this has been a key element for CIOB, and we'll talk a little bit more about why that is, but it's making it much easier, obviously, to access the community, and they have the ability to filter on different types of community. So this can be segregated, for example, based on membership level. So you could have a fellows community, you could have a regional or special interest group community, and of course you can have your general communities as well. And you're able to search globally that community. So I can search, for example, for awards, and I can see here, and I really like this example actually. So this is one of the pinned topics. So Caroline Gummel is the CEO of CIOB. So she's posted here. Now this will have likely been done by somebody working on Caroline's team who has authority to post under her name, but from the members' perspective, it shows engagement from the very top, and that's really important. You can see a number of likes against that, and also a reply from Grace there as well. Tim mentioned earlier the events. So we are not attempting to create an events system. MemConnect is not about building a monolithic product that does lots of things poorly. It's about integrating with existing products and sort of combining that experience into that one seamless journey that I talked about earlier. So with the events, we have the ability to go in and read about a particular event. In this case, the book journey is actually a handoff to the website, but we do have in-app event booking capability as well. We have a powerful filter and sort feature, which CIOB have made great use of. So the app has permission to use my location. So I can choose an event within, I'll say 100 miles to be safe, and hopefully there is something there. There is not. Let's clear that filter. But essentially, you are able to say, you know, maybe I'm in Scotland on business. I want to see if there are any CIOB events near me. I can do that. I can also filter by the types of events, and I can sort by event format as well. And you can see the results of that filter and sort there. I can also, of course, search by events, and I can filter by location based on my current GPS coordinates as well, as I mentioned earlier. CIOB also have an integration with their learning management system for CPD purposes. Again, we have the search and filter functionality that you've just seen in the other areas, very much similar here. This enables us to go into a particular piece of content and play that content. I'm not sure how this will play through Teams, but hopefully you can see that it's easy for me to find a video and to watch that. Maybe I watch that video whilst I'm on the train or I'm staying at a hotel or whatever it may be. It's really, really convenient, and convenience is king when it comes to engagement. We do have nice accessibility features there. Hopefully it's clear that the buttons are nice and large, and we also have the ability to add subtitles to videos as well. A couple of other areas very quickly. So CIOB have a chat feature. So this is very much a WhatsApp style chat. There's just test data in this, but it allows you to go in and message either member to member, as long as they've opted in to be able to do that, or to small groups as well. So I think special interest groups where if you use WhatsApp yourself, you might have a WhatsApp group of 10 or 20 people, and that's manageable. But if it was 500 people, it clearly wouldn't be. This can also be used for things like mentoring as well. And it's very easy for me to just go in, decide who I'm targeting there, put a title in and send them a message, as I say, as long as they've opted into that service. And CIOB finally also have their policies as well, which you can view on the mobile app. At the moment, these are link outs, but I believe that CIOB have been using the community to inform some of their policy decision making as well, which has been really interesting to see. Final elements just to cover very quickly would be things like you've got my details. I'm not Rebecca Doran for reference. She's our head of product delivery. So this is integrated with CRM, so you can go in and either see or potentially manage your details as well, which can help keep your user data fresh. You can see any events that you're booked onto. You can go into your app settings, and I can look at my push notifications, and maybe I'm not interested in the push notifications that I've been getting, but rather than switch them all off, this allows me to say, I still want to get the community ones, but I'm not interested in general app updates, for example, or I don't want to receive a notification if somebody messages me. So the idea here is to encourage members to keep push notifications enabled and be more granular about it, rather than just switch them off altogether because there are certain push notifications they're not interested in seeing. And you've also got messaging settings here as well. So this is what I referred to earlier. Do you want to be available in the directories to be messaged by other members of CIOB? And our final element, just to demonstrate quickly, is our notifications area. So very similar to notifications in something like the LinkedIn app. They're color-coded to indicate whether you've viewed and or opened those notifications, and they'll take you to the particular piece of content that the notification relates to. So hopefully that gives you a bit of a feel for the mobile app. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Mark, who is going to talk about online community and extend on some of the content that you've just seen there in the mobile app.
Yeah, thanks, Lee. So hopefully you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. So just to confirm, this is the CIOB app in the App Store, which is obviously one of the differentiators for the MemConnect product, is to bring it there and have the community features there and all the other pieces that Lee just showed. We're really proud to have, I think, 7 or 8 unique integrations, including all the RSS feeds, the Eventbrite, et cetera, in that app. But of course, one of the bigger ones that we're very proud of is the online community piece. This is the online community experience in the website, just to show this initially. I do want to dive into some of the conversations here, but we are limited, of course, by respecting the PII, personally identifiable information of CIOB clients. So rather than show the conversations that are initiated by members, we're going to look at some of the ones that have been initiated by staff and look at them in a way that has been slightly redacted, perhaps, so they can be safely shown. So to do this, I am going to just pop in highlights little reel here, and Grace and I'll be happy to talk about what some of these conversations are and why they were focused on and valuable in the community. So the first one, whoa, that just broke. Let me restart that slideshow. All right. It thinks I'm on 7 of 7 instead of starting from the beginning. Got it. Okay. So the first one is the introduce yourself thread. So this is really on community launch. This is obviously part of the strategy to let people understand that this is a safe place where they can talk to each other, have a few in the can member posts in here before the community is launched, and start that engagement story by allowing people to introduce themselves and prompting people to do this as they as they join the organization or authorize their account to be used for the community and go in and check out the community. So Grace, thoughts on this introduction thread at all?
Yeah, so we had an event that was for our members. It was a trip in Sydney, and basically lots of people were coming together from all over the world to attend this event. So we just thought it would be a nice idea to sort of have a post for people to just introduce themselves on it, so that people could sort of see who was coming along and get to know each other that way. So it worked really, really well. We had lots of people respond to that, and yeah, it was one of the most popular posts. So really successful.
Excellent. So the next example that we want to show is the use of the community to initiate kind of that mentoring approach and help people understand about the mentoring function that CIOB is providing.
So this one, yeah, it was just to promote the mentorship program. It was literally just an information post, but actually off of the back of that, we started getting members posting about their experiences, their positive experiences with using the mentorship program. And then, yeah, the thread just kind of snowballed from there, and lots of people sharing different experiences. So that was a really nice post as well.
Yes, Mr. Member is not actually a member of CIOB. That is my copy and paste redaction. You might find that humorous. The awards program. So here you can see Caroline announcing the awards being open, and Grace following with a number of posts following this that we won't show from the members, describing possible entries and things along those lines, right, Grace?
Yes, exactly that. She was just announcing the event, and then I just replied, giving a little bit more information about what the event was about and how people could enter. So yeah, another great post.
Cool. And tell us a little bit about the use of polling functionality in the community and the uptake on that for this example here.
Yes, so this one, it was in conjunction with National Apprenticeship Week. We just wanted to hear from our community on what they felt was needed to prepare a candidate for an entry-level job in construction, whether they felt apprenticeships were better or formal qualifications were better. So we put this poll out, and yeah, we got a couple of replies on that. People voted, so it was great to see that. And this is a feature that we're using quite a lot, polls, because we find that, yeah, you tend to get a lot of engagement from those, and it kind of helps to steer us find other content to post as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have a little bit to show in the actual browser in the live community, which I'm happy to show in the community here. For one example, we had a modeling, if you will, of the online community functionality for doing a project. It's not only about content contributions and questions and answers. The community offers a number of different features for such things as planning, iterating on documents, coming to consensus, etc. And so we modeled this here so you can see what some of those tools are. So here Lee is initiating the post on Let's Planning the very webinar that we're on right now. And you can see that because this is using the wiki functionality, anyone can come in here that has access to this conversation and make a contribution within that context. And you can see that in the browser, you can access the track changes. You can see my changes are the ones that are going to green in this case. So we've got the ability to track those changes and keep the conversation going about the content that's being created. Similarly, we're tagging people in, tagging in Tim, tagging Grace, saying, hey, we're looking at these pieces. Do we want to confirm, right, that we don't want to show personal details of members? And that is confirming that I can make this change here to do that obfuscation, if you will, of the member details. And Tim and Grace are agreeing that makes sense, and Grace is pointing out some of the topics that are low PII but definitely conversation points for the webinar, which we've just seen. Lee is then sharing the initial branding application as a image and sharing the actual file for the PowerPoint that we're working off together here. And Tim is commenting on that. Tim is also asking that maybe we want to focus on the app presentation in the app stores, and so the links are here. You can see the two different link styles in this example. Apple is offering the metadata underneath this target, so it's going to bring the web page target in a very attractive format. Google didn't do that, and I was surprised by that. But you can see that the slide gets created. This is what it's going to look like. And then we put that into the deck. Lee confirms it's in the deck, do a little poll to say if we needed anything else. And I'm suggesting there's one more slide that we might need, which is those documents on adding the thought leadership pieces there. So Grace makes a few comments about some of the bullet points that she wants to share, and we go forward and we find that we are in a position to have a webinar, and here we are. So just a few little examples of some of the features that are within the community. It will do the video streaming piece really well. It will do the from YouTube source, just take the web page of the YouTube video and drop it in the community. It will stream it. Video contribution, image contribution from copy and paste from your clipboard, etc. All those things are possible. A few other little highlights are that the reports are very strong. One of the things that is possible to do through the platform is to, of course, generate email. Some of our clients, we advise all of our clients to coordinate the email that is sent from the platform against their other comms that are going out, so to not oversaturate. But some of our clients do choose to make the emails that come out of the platform, and this is an example of one I just formatted that is not using any PII here. This is an example of what comes out, and you can see that it is going to showcase the members who are having the conversations and give the summary of everything that a user would want to see. And that user determinative piece is, of course, by them determining in their preferences exactly what kind of notifications and content they want to see notifications on against the different categories that are within the community, and those categories are visible here. Right, and what their level of desire of notifications on those are, and of course they're managing their email settings as well as to the recency they want to see those summaries, weekly, hourly, every month, every 6 months, or just completely off. All of those are some of the options there. So that's a just an overview of the online community pieces for the in the browser experience. As Lee showed, we are more than happy to make sure that those experiences in the app are really solid. But the online community piece is really, in part, a content management system for the app. Anything that the CIOB wants to get into their members' field of vision, posting into the community, make sure that it's in the app. But then it's also extending that content availability with the ability of members to interact and engage on that content. So we're very pleased to bring those features together in the browser and in the app for CIOB.
Great, thank you, Mark. So the next section we're going to look at is the results and future plans. Could I ask we keep this one to 4 or 5 minutes, so we've still got some time at the end for the Q&A.
Thanks, Sam. I'll see what I can do.
Okie doke, thank you very much.
Okay, so yeah, so as we've gone through the app, we set out with a few key goals as we started looking at a mobile app. A few of these we've been able to work through with Cantarus's experience on engaging with other platforms. So some of those that we've been looking to are kind of setting a baseline of engagement. And one of the goals that we initially set ourselves was to reach 20% of members. So that's a goal we've been chasing from the beginning. We set ourselves kind of a stretch goal in the first year to reach 10% of members, and then in our second year to reach 20%. What we've been seeing so far is a really positive engagement with the app. It's been a long haul. It's required us to put quite a lot of effort into keeping things moving, to building that community engagement that Mark's been talking about there, and making sure we're asking the right questions of the community, really showing them that engagement. But we're now starting to really to see kind of the fruits of that. So as I mentioned, we were chasing down that 20% mark for individual members. 6,800 downloads. I think that was as of the start of this month. We have 32,000 individual members, 50,000 including our company members. So our goal really was to reach that kind of 6,400 mark. So now we've actually surpassed that, which is fantastic. In the last 6 to 7 months, which is really the period we've had Grace on board, our focus has been really on that community. So we spent a lot of time kind of building the foundations for it, and Grace has taken that and really helped that kind of grow into something. So nearly 2,000 members just in that 7-month period, and I think we've got a graphic that shows some of that engagement. We're seeing great engagement from members. We've been able to see some really positive feedback and actually take that feedback on board and iterate on it with the guys at Cantarus to deliver new features as we've been going through. So I mentioned before that we've been able to see this kind of improvement since we brought on somebody dedicated to looking after the community. Grace joined us in July, so July last year, and basically since then we've seen nothing but an upward trend. Prior to that, we kind of saw monthly fluctuations depending on what was going on at the time. So being able to see that direct correlation between Grace's activity and engagement with the community to that just constant upward trend in monthly engagement has been fantastic, and we're really starting to see the fruits of that. Particularly when we talk about kind of, towards the end of November, you can see a particular spike, and that was that event in Sydney where we really saw that applying a physical manifestation of that community, giving people the opportunity to really have a tangible outcome of that engagement, really kind of struck a chord with members and really resonated well with them. And that's something we've been seeking to kind of chase down, finding those opportunities where we add depth to their experience across the board. So we've mentioned some of the engagements as we're going through there. A couple of the features that we've been making a lot of use of, particularly like a lot of membership organizations, we have things like our renewal cycles, which run annually. And we've been able to utilize things like the push notifications actually for engaging with members early, encouraging them to renew early, but also to highlight some of the passive benefits of their membership. So this is really just highlighting some of that engagement that we've seen so far, and making sure people are making use of the benefits that they get. And this kind of comes full circle around to something that Lee alluded to, which is probably kind of the secondary benefits that we've seen, which have really been around that silo breaking aspect of really helping people get to benefits. So I'll skip through some of these and just talk a little bit about some of the future plans that we have. So obviously what we're really seeing the value in for us has been that engagement with members, the community engagement, and the return we're seeing on that, the positive feedback we're getting from members. And really where we're focusing our efforts on now are how we can continue to grow that community, how we can continue to make meaningful interactions and use the whole platform as a way to kind of bridge services that we are trying to deliver to members. So we're looking at things like trying to bed in engagement with events as standard to build up conversations around news, but also talking about things like digital journals and expanding on the CPD delivery aspects of the app, and some of the things that Lee alluded to earlier on, things like digital membership cards, which we can bed into the app, and some of the depth in terms of profile and engagement. So lots of opportunities and lots of things that we're looking forward to over the next year, and it's all really kind of bedded into that community, which really has become kind of our central piece to the app. So I think at that I'll hand over to Lee before we go on into the Q&A.
Thanks, Tim. Really appreciate that. So I think one of the key takeaways here, and coming back to kind of the central premise of the webinar, is really making membership essential may not be your member value proposition that's at issue. It may be getting that value to your members, and that's what this is really all about. So apps and community can amplify the impact of your existing content and value proposition, and really enable members to get more value from you, particularly by engaging with other members and building that kind of knowledge base through the community of best practice and being able to get guidance and advice and understand other people's experiences. So making people feel that they're part of a community and building an emotional link to the membership organization is really important and is likely to help you to hang on to that discretionary revenue, if you like, that's associated with non-required membership. There is no magic bullet to engagement. I love this quote of success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. And that's exactly what Grace and Tim have been doing to drive that engagement. And that's what's delivered that upward trend Obviously, we believe that the platform approach is optimal, and that the membership app platform that we've built is ideal for results, generating those sorts of results. And with that, Sam, I'll hand over to you. I think we are going through the Q&A.
Yep, thank you very much. So if you have any questions you'd like to put to the panel, please put those into the chat or to the Q&A tab now. But we do have some that we've had through already. So let's start with this one here. So membership bodies often have a back office application environment like a CRM that may be in need of some modernization. Did you have to do a lot of work on your systems before you started this project? I think that question perhaps is best aimed at Tim.
Yeah, so this was something we were really aware of when we were going in. We had quite a complex legacy system in place, so lots of work had gone in the past to that, and one of the things that we were able to really work out quite quickly with the guys at Cantarus, and there was obviously a benefit that we were already working with them and they understood the platforms we were working with, was that they'd already worked with and had a working example of an integration with Microsoft Dynamics. So for us, that enabled us to kind of break down that wall almost straight away. Generally speaking, you know, it's we really wanted to make that a central piece of the delivery, that we were making sure there was a seamless experience. So that connection to CRM was seen as essential for us being successful. But because it was very off the shelf and that platform already had the integration, it made that decision a lot easier for us and minimized the complexity we were taking on.
Yeah, and if I could just add, Tim, I think that at the beginning of the project, I think we saw that you had done a lot of work to make sure your data quality was good, but the main point of the integration is the authentication is important, but also just that member flag, right? The member experiences as being uniquely presented within the app and confirming a user as a member. So, that's usually the table stakes for using a CRM/AMS system for a membership body. And you had that in place. And so that main point of the integration in terms of the contact record data was in place. And so the verification of membership was all, not a challenge.
Great. Okay, thank you very much. So the next question we've got here is quite a simple one, I suppose, but may have a longer answer. Why do you need an app if you have a mobile responsive website? I suppose we can ask that question either to the clients, but also to our team at Cantarus. So sorry, go on, Mark.
Yeah, I would say that apps do things that websites don't. The one thing is a push notifications channel, which is very important. Another is the offline state, so that you don't need to have an active internet connection to get value from content and other pieces of the app. And that content can be personalized. We put bookmarking on a number of our apps that we've done for other customers as well. But, Tim and Grace, thinking on where the app piece really made sense for you, love to hear your perspective on that as well.
I think when we originally approached it, it was one of our key questions as well, was, what is this going to deliver that our website isn't? Where's the mobile app actually fitting into the picture? And really that was kind of the question we were asking ourselves, and we wanted to put to members. So when we set about doing this, we did engage with members to find out what their expectations really looked like. What came through really was that they expected, if we had a mobile app, that it would bring together their services, and that's kind of what we set about doing, and that was the kind of the requirements that we pitched and that we were testing everything against when we went out to do this. And as Mark kind of alluded to, it's there's a big difference between the kind of the passive nature of the website and the active nature of engagement that we've been seeing, as particularly in places like the community and the app. They're a lot more dynamic as a medium. So we've found that the mobile app as a new channel of engagement has really been something that breaks things down, because it's just a different way of engaging.
Yeah, the other side on the app story is that because there are 7 to 10 integrations with it, including with Eventbrite, including with CRM, like the website experiences for a membership body are often relying on multiple unique websites. And some of those will be vendors like the Eventbrite presentation of events, or the member portal, which might come out of a CRM system, or a learning management system that might have very different presentations and fit for purpose, never mind branding consistency across all those silos of content. So the app brings it together in a single place, which will be responsive, which will be accessible. App accessibility is a thing. It's not just about websites, and will be that single place and that single source of information to cut through the different silos of experience that are very common within membership bodies. Some of our clients have up to 20 different unique member-facing pieces of tech stack, and the app really does make sure that that experience set is precise and very unique, but also reflecting the brand guidelines for all the experiences that are presented as the benefits are delivered.
Excellent, thank you. I think we've maybe got time to sneak one more quick question in before the end. So were you worried about inappropriate content being posted in the community, and how did you go about dealing with that? I think one for the CIOB team there.
Yeah, I'll take this question. I think initially we were a little bit concerned that there would be some of that, activity going on in the community, but I think it quickly became apparent that membership communities are very, very different from just your standard communities like Reddit and platforms like that. It's, professionals talking to each other. So I think, yeah, we haven't had any experience of anything like that. So I think, yeah, there aren't any really real concerns for that.
Broadly, the product does a very good job of not allowing certain words to be used, or replacing words if they are used, but also a very robust moderation methodology and easy to use user interface. So those things will all be done. But there are best practices, such as making sure members are posting under their own name rather than creating a false identity or a Reddit handle, if you will, so that when members are posting under their own name in a community space where their current and future employers are there, you get those kind of experiences that Grace describes, right? Very professional level of conversations rather than the free-for-all that might be in Twitter, Reddit, or similar spaces.
Yeah, I think I'd just chip in as well, if I may, that and this was actually something that one of our clients said to us, and I admit I hadn't thought of it before, but they actually, to a degree, welcomed member complaints in the community, and the reason for that was twofold, really. One was that they'd rather have them made in their private member community than on Twitter and Facebook and so forth. And the second element was that it enabled them to address those complaints and to be able to be seen to address those issues as well. So if a member's had a bad experience with a conference or something like that, whatever it may be, it's better that you know about it and can be seen to deal with it publicly. Just like if you get, a negative review of the app in the App Store, somebody can't log in for some reason, responding to it and saying, how can we help sort that out? And I think, Grace, you actually had an experience of converting somebody, or I think it was Kitty on your team, from a 2-star review to a 5-star review through that process. That's what community, empowers organizations to do. Sam, I think we have hit the hour mark.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I think people will either have other meetings to join or be looking forward to lunch at this point. So I think we'll end it there. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, to all the guests, and a huge thank you to CIOB as well for joining Cantarus on this one. And yeah, we hope to see you again in a future webinar. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.